A warm welcome to our presentation regarding 25 years experience with computer and web-based training for the maritime industry. This presentation is structured as follows. We will start with a baseline discussion, a review, and an outlook with conclusions and recommendations. My name is Holger Watter, and I work at Flensburg University of Applied Sciences in the field of ship technology and energy science. For over 30 years, I served the maritime industry in several fields of marine engineering and several institutions. In 1995, 25 years ago, we started with computer-based training, CBTs, for ship operation in cooperation with the Institute of Didactics of Technology at the Vocational College University of Siegen. Hypertext and decision simulation by CBT, named Implementation of Learning Software for Computer-Aided Training using the example of the complex of topics like steam operations in 1996 and the fuel system and fuel processing in 1997. The figure only shows scanned reports because the programs only a short time later no longer run on actual platforms. A first conclusion can therefore be done. We can burn a lot of money and waste of a lot of time with e-learning because they are not sustainable and quickly become unusable due to technical progress. Books, on the other hand, are sustainable and can be used without any problems even after decades. Books are the classic form of distance learning concepts. The Compendium of Marine Engineering, which has been translated and published in various languages in 2006, 2009 and 2011, should be mentioned here as a sustainable example. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you whether the Korean translation contains errors or not, because I can't read the scripture. I have to trust the translator here in this case. Since 2007, the 5th edition of book Hydraulics and Pneumatics regarding fluid power system has been continuously improved and expanded. Additional, since 2008, the 5th edition of the book Renewable Energy Systems has been also continuously improved and expanded. From 2009 to 2011, we developed a Moodle learning module for solar thermal systems in cooperation with the Academy for Renewable Energies and the Center for Technology-Based Education at Helmut Schmidt University, Hamburg. Here, too, there were initial problems, for example, with the display of formula in different browsers type. It has proven useful to provide the teaching materials as PDF because they will probably remain legible for many years. Since 2010, we created and tested various of hybrid courses and learning concepts for the ship operation technology with the learning portal StudIP, which names Internet support for classic teaching during the course of studies at Flensburg University of Applied Sciences. The concept is based on didactic model that is implemented with methodical tools and the technical tools as well as a mix of methods. Numerous scripts, exercises and accompanying documents from the industry are provided and processed. Another example of a lack of sustainable was the conversion of the Microsoft Formula Editor. After a Microsoft update in January 2018, numerous teaching materials were no longer readable and almost unusable. Numerous meeting formula has been explored in the corona pandemic and has been used in various forms. The students had slowly get used and accepted to this format and the limitations of the dialogue in particular. One of the main problems is the technical problem on the last mile, when the students do not have a broadband connection or the latest platform. Since 2017, Open Science and Open Access are new scientific strategies. At Flensburg University of Applied Sciences, initial experiences have been made over the past 2 years, which are presented and evaluated below. An interim conclusion has been given via this hyperlink in German language. With the video conferencing and whiteboard functions the blogs, posts on current topics and questions can also be prepared and made available using video recording. Currently, we also give our first experience with electronic exams. Questions of usability, supervision, traceability, and documentation are evaluated and examined now. Let's give some conclusions and recommendations. The classic quality process for teaching and learning forms has actually not changed much. Only the tools and methods have been changed. In the sense of a control loop, the results of the learning process are to be individually prepared, followed up, and, if necessary, readjusted. At the university, the responsibility for the quality of the learning process lies primarily by the students. It can also be seen that the quantity of information increasing due to the internet, but the quality decreases sharply. The information is driven by interests and marketing departments. The students have to question even more critical all these sources. Let's conclude. Digital media expand the methodological didactical method mix of traditional distance learning methods, books. Here, new learning channels and new learning concepts can be tried out and used. The preparation and provision of digital media, as well as the support of the learners in the digital dialogue, requires additional sources. Saving effects are not being expected. Digital media are subject to rapid change. Computer-based trainings from the 1990s can no longer be used for reasons of compatibility. Web tools quickly become obsolete because of elimination of platforms, software support, update policy, license fees, IT support, and so on. In contrast to books, the digital tools are therefore currently not sustainable in their effects. The memory bottleneck human brain cannot be circumvented. Learning remains as a function of time. Competence requires the ability to reflect and classify factual knowledge. Factual knowledge, like Google knowledge, is not enough. Current generations of students have mastered and expect the integration of digital media. Intrinsic motivation in this entirely cannot be expected. Flensburg University of Applied Sciences complains about strong focus on examinations. what do I have to learn for the exam, and critics lack of willingness to the students. Think outside the box, question, analyze, and evaluate. Distance and the fear of threshold hinder dialogue and intellectual exchange. Communication as a one-way street is not goal-oriented, and it's quality reducing. Quality arises in personal dialogue, in the discourse between teachers and learners. Digital media open up new learning channels, but do not replace the scientific discourse. Here, as a University of Applied Sciences, we correspond to Humboldt's idea of education. The university as a community of teachers and learners, in which the teachers contribute their experience and methods, and the learners bring in creativity and curiosity. This creative symbiosis creates a dynamism and a development potential that is difficult to recognize from the outside, but arises in the daily dialogue between teachers and learners, and which requires and it requires presence and daily commitment on both sides. The students also miss personal contact with another. In addition, of course, the question arises whether secondary virtue and academic goals can be archived at all if basic elements such as reading and understanding and reliability and punctuality are dispensed with. Thanks for your attentions. If you want to read more, please have a look on my blog and webpage. Thank you.